Yo, what is up guys? It's Fried Sushi here. In today's video, I'm gonna be telling a trip story from Reddit. So in today's video, I'm gonna be telling this story posted by Prolapse Pam. The story is titled A 46-gram Ride to Eternal Light Trip Report. Preface: I had a large jar of mushrooms sitting around from a batch I just grew and dried. I've been reading up on legitimately boofing some as there seemed to be no cons to doing so, so I decided I was going to boof 28 grams of golden teachers. I landed on 28 grams because I have a high tolerance to psychedelics, and the 5-gram heroic dose for me is just stoning and happy, but there's not much else going on. I wanted to take some looks into my life and see why I'm so empty and sad, why I feel so broken, and confront whatever might come up. Things came up. TLDR, I took 48 grams of mushrooms and was convinced I found God, died, and was sent to hell, as well as living and dying thousands of times and becoming everything and everyone all at once. Timeline. 30 minutes in, I prepared my mushrooms by blending them into dust, adding just enough water to a saucepan to cover them and simmering for 20-ish minutes before removing from the heat and letting drain into a cup. This is the Aztec, and its creator is u/Booftanian. I added one squeezed lemon wedge to potentiate some of the potency, which is not in the original Aztec instructions. T-minus 140 minutes. At this time, the mixture is now cool, so I transfer it to an anema bulb and retreat to my bathroom to do the deed. I lube it up, slide it in, and blast my booty hole with the bluish-brown powder. Now comes the waiting. I lay in my bed next to my wife and try to relax. 220 minutes. I don't feel anything yet and start to get upset that I may have wasted a good amount of shrooms. I debate what to do and decide on finishing off whatever I have left in my jar. I weigh it out and find out that I have 18.38 grams left. I blend up the dried mushrooms into a powder, and then I add about a cup and a half of grapefruit juice to the mixture and blend again so everything is incorporated. After it's all together, I chug it down. I have now just put 46 grams worth of mushrooms inside my body. I'm excited but cognizant that 46 grams is a royal fuck ton. Time turned to infinity soon after this. 245 minutes in. The last time I remember knowing the time, I started to come up and went out to look at the moon. Damn, it was beautiful. Whatever time came next is immaterial. The rest of my trip was me halfway conscious, laying on my bathroom floor, inhaling a bottle's worth of fumes from a bottle of spilled isopropyl alcohol. The real trip began when I became nauseous. I retreated to the bathroom and put my head in the toilet. I looked into the bowl, but all I saw was me. I saw a light that should be burning brightly but was on the verge of being extinguished. I knew this light was my soul, and I wept. I wept at the fact that this perfect and pure light was so dull, flickering in and out of existence. This light that could burn so brightly and illuminate the way for myself and others was on the verge of collapse. During this time, I let my body go numb. There was no use for this body where I was going, so I picked my head up and laid on the bathroom floor. I don't know how long I laid on the floor, but the entire time I was down there, I was inhaling the totality of a bottle of isopropyl alcohol that spilled at some point. I think this really fucked my trip. This was not intentional. At some point, I got up and sat on the toilet to poop, I think. And in that moment, it was clear to me that God is real and that God is perfect and that my wife is born of God and I had married perfection. I yelled at her to wake up and tell her the good news. She woke up and tried to talk me into showering with her, but I was glued to the toilet seat, talking face to face with God. So she eventually left the shower after 15 or 20 minutes, maybe, but I stayed in the bathroom. After she left, I stopped talking to God. Our conversation had been perfect, but it was time to hang up that phone. From then on, I don't know how to describe my descent into madness. I lived and died thousands of times. I lived as Hitler. I lived as Kanye West. I heard the voices of my conscience talking about me as if they were standing above me. There were female voices and male voices, but they were all inside me. They were disappointed with me. I started down a thought loop that lasted for the rest of the trip at this point. I would think of a word and immediately think it's perfect, but it has an opposite, and that's perfect. And this kept going around and around until it was pure hell. While this was going on, I was watching all of the ways my life could turn out and living through the eyes of other people. I thought I was going crazy. I was Kanye West at points. At others, I was Kim K. Sometimes I was Adam from Psych Substances, scared of the cameras looking at me. Then I would be my brother and we'd be in a video game. I'd lived and died thousands of times in what was probably seconds. I could see everything so clearly, yet it was so dark. I felt ripped away from the warmth and light that God had showed me. I just kept falling further and further from it. At this point, I was sure I was in hell, but hell wasn't the inferno that Dante and pop cultures describes it as. It's just your life, but everything is wrong, and there's nothing but fear and distance from God and light in a soul-crushing way. Around this time, I was becoming convinced that everything I wanted to do was bad, and that I was going to die if I did it. I could acutely smell the isopropyl alcohol, and I thought that there was carbon monoxide. So I ran downstairs naked and ran outside. My wife noticed and called me back inside, thank God. But once I was back upstairs, I was sure she was trying to get me to die, asking me to just lay down, and I tried to sleep, but I was convinced that if I slept, I would die, so I went back to the bathroom. Upon returning to my bathroom of safety, the thought loops returned. The infinite lives and living through eyes of everyone returned. My vision was nothing but fractals, always changing. I was going crazy. I went crazy last night. I met God. I saw what hell really was. I lived thousands of times as everyone I've ever met or had seen. I was Kanye West. I was Hitler. I was me. Eventually, I started to come down around the 600-minute mark, I think. I walked around my house, seeing that I had trashed it during my descent into madness, but had no recollection of doing anything. I think it's time for me to hang up the phone for a while and digest this. I've never had a trip like this. All of my trips are usually fun, but they have no meaning beyond an escape from reality and enjoying a new and brighter perspective. This trip has humbled me a bit. I'll continue to grow mushrooms, I think, just so I have them around when I feel it's the right time to take a journey again. But I think it's going to take me a while to integrate this experience. Sorry for the probably terribly written trip report. Everything I saw and experienced was in every way beyond description. So that's it for the trip report, guys. If you guys want to see me read more trip reports, then let me know in the comments down below. And yeah, like and subscribe. See you guys next time.